Perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's MAK.STERS class featuring La Fiermontina with Alessandra. I'm so excited to have you all on here. If you're used to Meg and not me, I'm Alexis, also known as J.MAK. I'm based in Westchester, New York. I'm J.MAK's niece, so we're keeping it in the family. And I'm here for any questions that you have. And just a quick reminder to always use that hi@jmak.com for anything that you need J.MAK related. And I'm going to hand it over to Alessandra so she can go over her lovely presentation. And then there's a Q&A. If you have any questions, you can drop them in there and we will answer them either throughout or after the presentation. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time today. I'm Alessandra. I'm the Director of Sales at La Fiermontina Family Collection. It's a family business. And for us, everything started in Puglia, in Italy. Puglia is the hill of the booth. And the lady that you can see on my screen was actually the grandmother of our owners. She was Antonia Fiermonte, that's why La Fiermontina. And she was born in Puglia, in a small village. And when she was very young, she became a model. She went to Rome and she met a French sculptor called René Letourneur. So she lived with him and his best friend near Paris in the Atelier Fontaine-Rose. So the two sculptors used to work together, and Antonia met the first one and married the first one, but actually after a few years of marriage, the second man fell in love with Antonia. She was really, really charismatic and very nice. And he wrote more than 600 letters to Antonia. And at the end, she decided to break the first marriage and got married with the second man. Antonia had just one daughter, Anne, who is still alive. She's 91 and she's our owner's mother. Antonia, the grandmother, died when she was only 42. So our owners, the grandchildren, never met her. And that is why they decided to go to Puglia. Our owners, Antonia and Giacomo, they are half French, half Moroccan, with Italian origin. So they decided to go to Puglia to understand their root. The second part of the story is linked to Enzo. Enzo was the grandmother's brother. He was a boxer and from Puglia went to Rome to fight. And actually he became champion in Italy. And since then he started traveling around the world. And he ended up in the US, where he met Madeleine Lady Astor, the rich lady that survives to the disaster of Titanic. Thanks to Madeleine's connection, Enzo became an actor. So different story, all in the same family. This map will show you where we are now. As I said, everything started in Puglia, and now we have 2.5 property. I will tell you more in a minute. But we are also in Paris and in Morocco. Today we will concentrate on Italy and on our Apulian-based properties. Our properties are in Lecce. Lecce is called the Florence of the South for its Baroque style, and it's 30 minutes drive from Brindisi Airport and 1.5 hours from Bari's airport. For people who normally book Puglia, you probably know the area of Valle d'Itria, where Borgo Ignazia, where Roccoforte is. We are just 1 hour drive from the Valle d'Itria area, where most of Masseria are built. And in that specific area, there is also one UNESCO site that is called Alberobello. Lecce is also right in the middle between the Adriatic and the Ionian Sea. So is well located also for people that are looking for beaches and people that want to combine art and culture. La Fiermontina Luxury Home is our first property. It was opened in 2015 and it's a masseria. Masseria means a farmhouse, and those masseria normally are in the countryside, but we are in the old town. We are in a limited traffic zone. It means that our guests can reach the property very easily and walk to the basilica or to the dome. As a masseria, we have olive trees, orange trees, nice pool for our guests, parking area, and the property is spread out in 3 different buildings. This is important for reservation because normally we always explain where the room is located. At La Fiermontina Luxury Home, we have 19 keys, including 3 suites à côté. This is the reception. Actually, we don't have a reception because we host our guests in a house, in a family, and everywhere our guests are surrounded by art. 19 suite, several room categories. We can host couples and families. We do have some connecting rooms, but also this suite is our suite Antonia, our top suite, which can host up to 4 people with a terrace. We do have also some suite à côté that for people that are looking for more privacy. This is one connecting suite, for example, and our pool suite. This pool can also be heated. Fine dining restaurant with Mediterranean cuisine. It is open to non-resident guests. And normally the dinner is really nice because it's under the olive groves. Then, 5 minutes from the first property, again in the city center of Lecce, very close to the Basilica of Santa Croce, that is the most important monument in the city. We opened in 2018 Palazzo Bozzicorso. It's one of the most important palaces, historic houses, into the city. Dated back the 18th century. It was restored as a boutique and design hotel. Palazzo Bozzicorso features 10 suites. Every suite is unique because it's entitled to a family member. We actually sum up them in 3 main categories to make it easier for you to book them. We have a nice rooftop that overlooks the entire city with a plunge pool and a bar. And it is really nice because we can see on the left side the basilica and on the right side the dome. It is on the 2nd floor and there is a lift for people that prefer to use it instead of stairs. And this is the style of our suite. It's very modern, very contemporary, with attention to details. Our blue wellness suite features also a private sauna in it. And for example, we do have some wellness suite with sauna or a wellness shower, a standing bathtub, and this is one of our suite cappuccino that has a terrace connected to a 2nd suite called Lady Astor. Our garden is perfect both for breakfast but also for private dinner. And normally in both properties, we can also host some small events like engagement or intimate weddings. We can host civil ceremony both at Palazzo Bozzicorso and La Fiermontina Luxury Home. And here at Palazzo, we also have a nice kitchen where we do organize cooking classes and dinner at the chef's table. Last but not least, last year we opened the Fiermonte Museum. It is like a suite à côté of La Fiermontina Luxury Home, so the first property, because it's just 30 meters from it, and it's a proper museum. In the Fiermonte Museum, we tell the story of Antonia, the grandmother, René Le Tournay, the first sculpture, and Jacques Bobadin, the second one. So there are 9 rooms in the museum where we explain the story of love and friendship about these 3 people. And we also have some paintings from Antonia. But what is really unique for it is that it is a museum hotel, because we decided to add 4 thematic suites in the museum. This is the garden that is really nice during the summer season. We organize breakfast here for people that are sleeping in the museum. And this is one of our suites. In each suite, there is the opportunity to book a workshop, a private workshop linked to painting, music, video, and sculpture. It's a workshop of 2 hours with an artist, and it is a disposal for our guests, but also for non-resident guests. This is the Marble Suite, our top suite, with private terrace and a jacuzzi. As I've just mentioned, the museum is open to the public. It means that if you have also guests sleeping in another property, either in Lecce or in the Valle d'Itria, and they are coming to Lecce for a daily trip, they can have a visit of the museum with the ticket, but we can organize for them what we call the art tour, which is a tour with the person in charge of the museum. It will last more or less 1 hour, and after it, we will offer them a drink. Additionally, in the museum, we can organize cooking classes and private dinner. The Eat Art experience, it's a proper immersive experience in the museum where there is the combination of storytelling and tapas and wine pairing. Again, this kind of experience is open to non-resident guests. So normally we do have an experience guide that is available online for our agent, where you will find all the experiences that are available through us. It means that if you do not use a DMC, you can refer to us also if they are sleeping somewhere else. We do recognize commission also on experiences. And this is just to show you Lecce. This is the dome. As I previously said, it's called the Florence of the South for its Baroque style. It's full of churches and it's quite unique. And this is Otranto, that is one of the main cities on the Adriatic coast. And Otranto is really nice also because there are some boat tours from this city, and Gallipoli on the Ionian Sea. Um, the south part of Salento, so of Puglia, it's also called Maldives because the landscape is amazing and it looks like Maldives. And the last one is Alberobello, that is a UNESCO site, is in the Valle d'Itria, so 1 hour drive. Okay, I hope it was clear because we have three properties. Each property target different people because the Masseria luxury home normally is more for families, while Palazzo Bozzicorso is more for couples. And the last one, the Fiermonte Museum, is for art lovers, of course. But because they are very close, if one property is full, normally we tend to offer the second or the third property. Also because normally agent knows La Fiermontina luxury home, but now there are three Lecce, so it's also nice for you to discover them.
So I think we just had one question so far. Are the Italian properties open year round? I have clients planning a honeymoon in Italy in January 2026.
Okay, normally our properties close on the 6th of January and they open mid-March. For next year, I will have final information soon because sometimes we decide to extend a bit in January. But if this agent has already specific date, we can work on it for sure.
So Melissa, I would send an email over to the email that I put in the chat, just making mention of this, that you were on today's MAK.STERS and that it was something that your client is potentially interested in, just so that they have it on their end as well, and we can make that connection. Perfect. That was the only question I had. Did anyone else have any other questions? I know we were supposed to go over Palazzo, Bazzi Corso a little bit. Do you want to give a little bit of detail about that, Alessandra, quickly?
Palazzo Bozzicorso, yes, is the second property that I mentioned. It's it's an historic palace and it's very cozy. And so most of our guests are in love with Palazzo because it's an art gallery. So it's a completely different concept compared to La Fiermontina luxury home. You have it in your background, so everybody can see that picture.
The right way.
That is typical. The yellow and the pink at the wall is typical of Lecce because it's the limestone of our city. And while Palazzo Bozzicorso is very modern and everywhere there are paintings, sculpture, and one little note about Palazzo is that in the family story, Anne, the owner's mother, is friend of Yoko Ono, and they worked together for the Strawberry Fields project in New York. So at Palazzo Bozzicorso, we have one suite that is entitled to John Lennon. In it, we have the original gold disc of Imagine. And on the first floor at Palazzo, we do have several paintings that Yoko gave to Anne for their friendship. So little touch also for people that loves music and Elton John.
Linda asked, what are the room rates during the high season?
Okay, we do have several room categories. So the average, let's say that we start from 400 euro and we top up 1,200, 1,300 euro per room per night, breakfast included. But it depends on the category because at La Fiermontina Luxury Home, the entry level is a superior and we top up with the Suite Antonia.
Does anyone have any other questions? I'll leave the Q&A open for another minute just in case. And then if you think of any questions in the future, like I stated earlier, please email us. I dropped La Fiermontina's email in the chat, as well as everyone should know to use hi@jmac.com to loop us in so that we can just be aware of what you're doing and what you're booking. Linda asked, what about the museum property rates?
Yeah. The museum between 500 and 1,000 at the present time. There are only 4 suites, so it's also perfect for a family for buyout, actually. And soon there will be a second webinar about La Fiermontina Ocean, our property in Morocco. Sorry, but it's also important.
And then Linda also asked, do you allow children?
And small children not in the museum. If we're talking about small children not in the museum, yes, at La Fiermontina Luxury Home and Palazzo Bozzicorso.
So what would the age cutoff be? Do you know exactly or?
Or Fiermonte Museum from 8 years and above.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Seems like that was the final question. I'll give it one more minute in case, because I know Linda was typing a few. But for those of you that don't have any questions, thank you. Oh, are you virtuoso? So Linda just asked.
No, not yet.
But for those of you who don't have any further questions, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop by on a MA.STERS class. I'm going to be sending out this video recording to everyone, so you'll all have it on your end. And then I'll also include all the contact information that you need in order to get in touch with Alessandra. Of course, Jennifer, thank you for attending. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Let me
very
just
much.
stop the recording.